I printed and worked out these pieces with Gelelf products, and this is a review how their products performed. Hello print fans! In my last video I was working with a new Gelelf Jelly Plate, and today I also used Gelelf paints and some transfer sheets with motifs that they make. I want to make clear in advance that I don't get any benefits from them for reviewing their products, so you can be sure you get an honest judgment. This is the large plate, still boxed. It is about 40 by 50 centimeters, which is roughly about 16 by 20 inches. And there are dear transfer sheets with motifs on them, which they claim can be printed up to 20 times. As you can see, the images are on either side of the sheet, so I guess each side can be printed 10 times. The gel plate is a little less expensive than the other producers offer it for. Gelelf sell via Temu too, but they have their own store as well. Make no mistake, Temu offers quite a few ridiculously cheap gel plates, and they are not good. I have already filmed my testing of cheap plates, which will be my next video. Some of these motifs are quite nice. This one, I don't know, that's too dark for my liking and too much nudity. And this is death. This is, of course, something for me. Very nice picture. And a few others as well. And also these waves, which I like a lot. And the last one is Mr. Dürer himself in a self-portrait. We'll see how they print. And I also got a large brayer by Gelelf, nice and new. And they claim that you can easily peel off the paint after the working process without using any water. And here are the Gelelf acrylic paints, which I want to test for how they pick up, how they make a transfer, and so on. So now I'm unboxing the jelly plate. Yeah, my first unboxing video. But it's really exciting. And look at that. This is a flyer, a sheet from my friend Mark Yeates, from whom I learned a lot. You probably know him. And yeah, he did obviously something with the Gelelf people. And this is the plate. And ooh, there's really nothing more exciting than a fresh jelly plate. Totally clean. Sorry for the reflection. That's my ring light. I have to put it a little higher. And now I'm choosing two colors to start with. And I decide on the sap green and the ultramarine blue. And I don't want to start with something complicated like the transfer. I want to print something simple. This is a set that you put on the table normally, but of course I bought it to print it. And you can see the difference from the front side to the back side. While the pattern is very flat on the back side, here it's a little bit rounded. And I think this side will give me more exciting structures than the flat back side. Fiddling a bit with the aluminum lid, and then I'm putting some sap green in the upper side and the ultramarine on the lower side. I use two colors that I want to fade into each other. It's really good to have a large brayer here, as the jelly plate is so large, and so it's bound to dry on me at some point, and it's much faster with a bigger brayer. and it works fine. And first I sprayer out the green and then the blue, and then let them fade a little into each other. See those stupid marks I made with the lid or with the opening of the tube? I always do that, and it's hard to get it off. So I think it's good now, and I have to work fast. At least I think so. And I'm putting on that fish, and I'm using a rice paper. Oops, there were 2 rice papers accidentally. You can see it makes these nice little shapes on the outside, but also it's very good to go into these millions of small holes. That was something I didn't think about before. There are actually some holes that I can't get in with my finger at all. But for the main part, it works fine with the rice paper. Chinese, of course. The eye is very important, of course, so I work a little longer there. And all the time I'm a little afraid that the paint might dry under the fish, but we'll see. That fish is really a very nice design, I have to say. Look at the fins. Somebody must have worked a long time on that design. So I'm taking that paper off, and yeah, you can see it made a good print, and I'm very fast to put on the paper. I had some Canson watercolor paper left, and it's very sturdy. I think it's 300 GSM. As always, I will write all the materials in the info box below. So I'm taking that, I'm pulling the print, and now I thought, doesn't take all of the color. What do I do now? Just as I feared, some parts have dried too fast. So I'm coming in with a medium, a matte medium, no, sorry, it's a binder. Actually, it's a binder which is a lot like a medium. It's nothing else than what is in the paint anyway. And it's transparent. And I will use it to pick up the rest, and being very careful that I don't move the right side. It works fine because the paint is kind of sticky. So I've done this on this side now. I'm rubbing it in again, and then I'm doing it on the right side. This is a good way when you see not all the paint has been picked up. This you can do. So I'm rubbing this in firmly, let it sit for a minute, and then I pull it again, and you can see it picked up some parts, but not all of them. So I'm trying to get a little more, but it seems like maybe in the middle I haven't put enough of the binder. Whatever, I don't mind a few fails in this design. I think it's very beautiful, and I think it was a good decision I used the front side. And I really like the color tones, I have to say, that green and that ultramarine. And now for the cleaning of the gel plate, which is also important. And it works very easily with a baby wipe, as you can see. And now I'm starting with the transfers. I've chosen 2 of the transfer sheets, 2 different images of the sea. And I want to compare the lamp black of the Gelelf to my trusty Liquitex black. So I want to do 2 prints at a time with different paints. I know that maybe it's a little unfair because I know the Liquitex really takes all the prints the best of all paints. And we'll see how the Gelelf performs here. And I'm taking 2 different brayers for the different paints, so as not to mingle the paints for a true color test. So the Liquitex is on the left and the Gelelf on the right. And you can see it is a little brownish, which I actually like a lot. And it reminds me of the etching ink actually. And you can also, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see that the Gelelf paint is very fine, really like like an etching ink, a true printing ink. So I'm placing on the transfer sheets with a seascape motif. And rub it in like with medium pressure. Not too hard because you might take up too much color. So medium pressure, I should say. And when I take it off, you can see here with the Liquitex paint, it worked really, really well. And when I take this one off, you can see it did not work really well. That's a bummer. I'm not even taking the Liquitex print. I'm not even pulling that. I'm just going on with the Gelelf color because I want to give it some more chance. So here I'm mixing it with a little what's left on the brayer. That's probably the Liquitex black, and using the Prussian brew this time. Rubbing it in. This is the other side. Taking it off, rubbing a bit more. Lifting it up carefully. I can already see it doesn't do good, and look at this. That's a real bummer. It ripped off part of the transfer sheet. Obviously because the paint again dried too fast. That's not good. And actually I don't know if it's the transfer sheet that doesn't work well or if it's just the paint that dries too fast. So I'm trying again. And actually it was ultramarine before and now it's Prussian blue. Very nice color, this Prussian blue, I think. And I'm rubbing in the master and I'm rubbing a little lighter than before, and it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't work. And it must be the paint because it works well, the transfer sheet, with a Liquitex, as you can still see on the left side. But I'm still not giving up. And I'm making this background and I don't want to do anything with it because I like it so much as a background. So I'm just taking that background sheet. I'm gonna print something on it later. This is the permanent violet light, which is also a very beautiful color. And it's mixing a bit still with the residue on the brayer, which I wanted. So I'm making an even thinner layer now. I'm trying this beautiful flower landscape, rubbing very lightly, taking a sneak peek, not satisfied, gently rubbing a little more. And you see this kind of work now. I'm picking it up, but it's not a very clear image. There are quite some blobs there where, well, it's not so satisfying, but I can work on this one. As I work my prints out anyway, mostly, I'll do something with this later. Now I'm trying my favorite transfer sheet, the death page, which is sadly a topic for me at the moment because of my dog. Yeah, and I'm trying the lamp black of the Gelelf again. Rubbing slightly thin layer. And again, it worked partly, but has a lot of blobs and changed the design a lot. Rubbing in some more. Still not happy. So what I'm doing now is what I did before. I'm just putting on some binder, acrylic binder, to pick up the rest what's left on the page. And I can definitely say now the paint is drying too fast. I really like the transfer sheets and they work well with Liquitex acrylics, but the Gelelf paints are really drying too fast. As I said, they have a wonderful quality because they're very, very fine, which you can also see in this mishap print. It still has a very lovely structure to it because of the fine pigments. And I'm still not giving up. What I want to do now is make a transfer and then let it dry completely and then pick it up with another color. So I'm using the black first. And I'm placing the other floral design that I like. I like the graphic style. It's a little bit comic-like. I like that. So thin layer, rubbing a bit more. And you can already see it has these blobs again. But I want to see how it is if I pick it up with another paint. I didn't have to wait very long until the first layer was dry because, yeah, they dry too fast. So now I'm quick to put on the paper. And I reveal it. It's a little dark, but it's something you could work on. Possibly with acrylic colors even, you know, making a white background. I'm not doing anything to this one in this video, but it has a potential, I'd say. This is the transfer sheet. And now I want to try, because they said you can print more than just once. Well, actually they say you can print it 20 times. So I'm going to try that again with the lamp black. And I'm cutting this a little short. And it didn't work. There's a little bit of flowers, but I didn't even pull the print. And now I'm going for something completely different. I printed a motif that I've used often before. Sorry that you see it for the 5th time, this raven. I'm not very creative today. Anyway, I just want to try if they work with a normal laser print. So I'm rolling out the lamp black again and putting that laser sheet on again. Just treat it exactly like the transfer sheets. And you see an image, blobs again, but also an image. It's a little light. Here I'm taking something off with a masking tape. You can do that as well. But these blobs are sometimes not so uninteresting. I let it dry though and pick it up with a white. It's the Gelelf titanium white. I think it's half transparent. Doesn't matter in this case actually. Oh, and I forgot to record, obviously, this time. On the left side, I'm just picking up that the residue of the brayer, and I also scratched some numbers in it and some scratching design, just to show you that with these paints, you can do something with the residues as well. I just did it like in a second or so, but I guess you can make a very interesting drawing. So back to the raven again. I picked it up very carefully, and I like it a lot, and I know I can do something with it. Not in this video, but actually I like it that it's so light, and I like the blobs that stayed on the gel plate. And I'm a little bit fed up with the transfers now, and I want to try and press some botanical stuff, which I often do. And I got some bamboo that I've dried before, and maple leaf, I think it is. You can see it has paint on it. I've used it sometime before. Also, your botanical stuff you can use a lot of time over and over again until they dissolve. So brayering the lamp black on it again and placing some bamboo and the maple leaf. And I want to do a double exposure this time, so after I picked up the surroundings, I'm taking off the leaves, the bamboo leaves and the maple leaf, which is still intact. And you can see this is quite nice. Also on the left side, no color was picked up. That's kind of incomplete, but I like it. And I made another one. I'm sparing you the beginning now, as the video is already so long. And I'm taking off the surrounding paint with rice paper again. Taking the leaves away. This is not a double exposure. And quickly pulling that print. And it's a nice print as well. And the rice paper left a nice pattern too. Now I want to try another thing. If you know my channel, you know that I usually use the golden open acrylics because they stay wet very long. And if I use other acrylics, I sometimes mix them with a retarder, like I do here on the glass plate. Little too much of the retarder, so I'm adding more of the Gelelf paint. Yeah, and I guess this will not dry so fast, I hope. And I want to say again that I really liked the Gelelf color scheme, color shades. This is the Prussian blue again. And I went outside in the garden and picked some fresh weeds. I don't even know what they are. I think on the right side that is a phlox. And this is I don't know, some wildflower. The difference is they always have a little bit of wetness to them. And you just saw me spraying on some more water sprinkles. Very carefully, not too much. And now I'm taking that print. And the volume of the plants ruined the sheet a little bit. It is, I think, 200 GSM paper. So it can take it. And I want to make a double exposure again. So I'm taking off the weeds before I put the paper down again. Rub that in. And then pull the print. The double exposure worked very fine, and I love those water drops. That's always a great effect. And it works nicely with the Gelelf paints as well. But remember, I put in some retarder to have more time. And I somehow managed to ruin this print later, but I'm not showing you that. I'm going on with a retarder, this time mixing it with a lamp black and putting some lamp black on it extra so that it's not too light. And I want to print some other objects this time. I just got this large fabric dahlia and I place it on and pressing it in by using the rice paper on the sides and also to press it down in the middle. So I hope this will work fine, and I know the rice paper will give me a nice structure around it. Yeah, look at that texture already on the gel plate. It looks really beautiful. And I want to print this on that background I made before. And that was a good idea. Yeah, the black is strong enough or opaque enough to make this nice pattern. And you can still see the shining pink and purple colors showing through. I'll definitely work this one out. So I'm repeating that dahlia print with retarder, and I want to repeat it because I want to print it this time on one of the transfer sheet prints that I have. So basically same thing. Oh, not the same thing. This is not the rice paper, this is the deli paper. It also has a very, very nice effect, especially with wet, fresh flowers. Yeah, I know this is not a fresh wet flower. Anyway, I like the deli paper effects. But I'm actually picking up some of the surrounding things here so that I only have the dahlia. And I'm printing it on this transfer sheet I made with a flower landscape. And yeah, nice. I tried the transfer sheets again with a retarder mixed paint and it didn't work. And I don't want to bore you to death, so I'm not showing you that. But here I'm showing you how you can easily peel the paint off the brayer. This is something Gelelf people claim, that you can peel the paint off easily, and that is absolutely true, as you can see. That's some fun. And I tested it with other paints and it works as well. The brayer is very good. And when the layer is thick enough, you can also peel it off the jelly plate, which is fun too. And now I'll show you how I worked the last two, how I worked them out. I'll speed it up quite a bit because the video is already so long. Here you can see that I used pencil first, but then I switched to Fineliner, which works very well. And because I used the retarder, I think it's because of that, or maybe because of the binder or whatever, it's better to work on this one with a fineliner and not with a pencil. I'm very tempted to work out the background with the white acrylics or so, opaque, but I'm not sure. So I'm trying to fill in just lighter shades in between the petals and the stems with a white, God, it's a marker. I can't see, actually. I think it's a chalk marker. Yes, it is. I like these markers a lot because they are not opaque but a little bit transparent. As you see, I go over the same shapes 2 times sometimes, and if you're quick you can rub it away immediately afterwards. And what I'm doing the same thing here, but I'm kind of giving it a rough structure so that you can see the marker strokes, the brush strokes, so to speak. I find that interesting. So little by little I get an interesting transparent white background. And I'm using my white pencil here, again my trusty Caran d'Ache, and it works well over the paint. And these textures that the rice paper gave me, I'm turning them into stems, into some sort of stems, which was just what I needed. And up here the petals are a little bit mishmash, as we say in German, mishy, mushy. So I'm putting on some highlights with a white pencil, and then I discover that in most areas I can work with a black pencil, so I'm also adding shadows there. And here you see me working with another fineliner of the Pigma series, of the wonderful Pigma series, and it has a brush tip, so you can vary the broadness, what's the word, of the tip. You know what I mean. In this area I think the background is too bright, so I'm adding a little layers of Prussian blue here, or a mixture of Prussian blue and dark indigo. Putting a little more white down there, and now I'm using the white fabric marker that I also use a lot. It's very much like the chalk marker I used before. God, this video is too long. Can't concentrate anymore. And to finally finish this one, I just want to add a little water drop, or rather a large water drop down there. And I suddenly see, if I had turned this into an eye, there would have been a frog or a toad lying there. Can you see that? But I'm not working that out now. So this one's ready, and I love it. I just love it. I'm so vain, but I love this one. So if you want to stay with me for the working out of the second print that I liked, I'll speed this up a lot. And while I'm showing you this, I want to have a little recap of what I think about these products. So here's what I concluded. The gel plate, which is a little less expensive than others, works very fine, nothing to complain about. The brayer does a really good job, especially for getting the paint off afterwards. The transfer sheets, of which I liked most of the images, work fine, but obviously not with the Gelelf paints. Showing a variety of nice colors and being pigmented highly, obviously, they fail with the transfers and with first prints in general, but work wonderfully as pickup colors. I think these paints would have to be altered in that they don't dry so fast, or you just have to use them with a little retarder, and probably some medium or binder would do the job too. I want to stress again, all these Gelelf products are available with Temu or via the Gelelf website, but remember, Temu offers quite a few ridiculously cheap gel plates, and they are not good. I have already filmed my testing of cheap gel plates, which will be my next video. Gosh, this was a long video, a lot of work. But I had some nice results, I think. What do you think? Hopefully my next one will not be so much work. I hope this helped you with decisions what and what not to buy. And see you next week. Bye.